O Great Spirit, we come to thee again. O infinite Lord of stillness, we call thee by name. Come dwell with us. Come fill us with thy presence. O ye powers that be, in all of thy names, in all of thy forms. Namaste. Ancestors of our bloodlines, ancestors of our spiritual lines, ancestors of our marriage lines, ancestors of our friendship lines, all of our relatives. O ye powers that be, sweep clear our paths. Most beloved and precious Ishta, may we come to thee, become one with thee, and be blessed by thee. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste and welcome. We have just concluded a beautiful ordination ritual and have 3 new Swamis ordained into the priesthood. Swami Ikshamananda, Swami Nishkalananda, and Swami Vyomananda. What a beautiful day. Once upon a yogi time, there was a boy, and he belonged to a family of very devout people. And he kept asking from the time he was very little, how do I see God? Where is God? Grandmama said, God is everywhere. You, life is everywhere. You, my beloved child, can see God in everything. No, that's not what I'm talking about. My friend on the street has a name for God. My friend in school has a name for God. And you just say, the Great Spirit, the Great One, I want a name for my God. Grandma smiled at him. This went on for years, years and years. The boy grew up into his late teens where he could do what he wanted to do. Now, where in the world can I find God? I think I'll go to India, he said. I think I'll go to India. They must have God in India. And so he went. He went to India. And he went to one temple. As soon as he got off the plane, he went to a temple. Ah, Buddha. Buddha is here. That must be God. Wonderful, I found God here. It's a little statue, a little murti of Buddha at that little shop outside the temple. Walks down the street. Ganesh. What is this? He turns the corner. Here's Ganesh temple. There's another Ganesh temple. There's another Ganesh temple. Oh, this is really strange. Maybe God is Ganesh. Maybe God's not Buddha. I'm not sure. He walks along a little bit, and every place he looks, there's Ganesh. There's along the side of the road, in little tiny little huts, little shrines that have been up. There's Ganesh. There's Ganesh. There's Ganesh. Very popular god, this Ganesh is. Ah, well, I think I'll go. That must be the real God, must be Ganesh. Gets a murti, puts it in his pocket along with Buddha, walks along a little further. And he comes to a big, 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 big murti. The temple built around it of Lord Shiva. It's the biggest murti he's ever seen. I mean, it is gigantic, you know. Oh, now this is the largest of the gods I've seen. Is it Shiva? I don't know. I've got Buddha here, I've got Ganesh here, but that's Shiva. Maybe that's the real God. Goes in, prays a little bit, gets a little murti of Lord Shiva. Looked a little bit like this. Yeah, nice murti. The murti is when the statue has been blessed. Goes along, walks a little bit further, and what happens? He comes to a temple for Hanumanji. People are dancing and singing and chanting to Hanumanji. So he's confused. He has Buddha in his pocket, he has Ganesh in his pocket, he's got Shiva in his pocket, and he's got Hanuman in his pocket. And he walks a little further, and there's Lakshmi, and he walks a little further, and there's Ram. And he walks a little further through India. Oh, there's Jesus. There's a church for Jesus. And he walks further, and there's a church for Mary. And there's a church for Parvati. There's a temple for Parvati. And he even finds a temple for Vishnu. Only one. He even finds a temple for Vishnu. And he doesn't know what to do. Every place he goes, he collects these little statues. So he sits down, and he's got a conundrum. Because he wants the real God. He wants to know who's the real God. Who's the real God? So he ends up at an ashram. Brings all of his little murtis out. And the head Swami there comes out and he says, I need to know the real God. And I've collected them from all over India. I've collected them from all over your country. Now, here they are lined up. Which one is the real God? I see you've got plenty of temples to Buddha. I see you've got temples to Kuan Yin. You've got lots and lots of temples to Ganesh. So is it the number of temples that tell me that he's the real God? And all the temples to Shiva are massive. Is it the size that tells me that? How do I know who the real God is? Meditate, 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 meditate. The Swami says. Man sits down to meditate. And in front of him, he sees all these forms of the divine. All those that he had collected and more. He's confused. And he says, in a funny way, will the real God please stand up? And one rises, and the other rises, and the other rises, and the other rises. They all collapse into a ball of light. There is only one. There is only one. There's only the divine, the one divine, the one true God. Is that which is everywhere. But what are all these manifestations of the divine? What are they? They are the forms that we give to the one God, the one divine, the Lord of life, if you will. The forms that we give because they allow us to commune more deeply. They allow us to commune more fully, more completely, to find our way from confusion and chaos to peace, to happiness, to tranquility, and truly to enlightenment. And it is called, as those of you who have been on retreat this weekend, we have been on retreat this weekend, the path of the Ishtadevata. Now, the path of the Ishtadevata is an intimate path. It is a path of creating your oneness with life, of learning gaining confidence in your relationship with the divine, of learning to trust the divine, while recognizing that you are responsible for your own life. Very hard sometimes. Karma flows into the life. Sometimes it's rough, it's not easy. Sometimes the karma flows in. The body becomes ill. And the mind wants to say, God, why did you do this to me? Sometimes the karma flows in and you see difficult things happening around you and you say, why did you do this to them? Why are you letting them suffer? Why is this happening? And sometimes you walk through time, and as my dear friend Swami used to say, looking down, why did this happen to me? How did this happen to me? Walking through time, it happens. We must let go of those thoughts. God is not to blame. The divine is not to blame for what happens in your life. You have the wondrous, great responsibility for that. Attune to your form of the divine. Attune to the form of the divine that for you embodies the highest goodness in life. The goodness. An Ishtadevata, your Ishtadevata, is that embodies that which you value the most. Your Ishtadevata should be kind, accepting, loving, understanding, non-judgmental, accepting of you and everything you do, everything that is a part of your life. Now, one of the functions of the Ishtadevata is to allow you to unburden yourself, if you will. You create an intimate relationship with this form of the divine. And it's very simple. You sit down and you reflect, what do I value the most? Write it down. And then you ask in prayer, you petition, what form of life embodies this most for me? And it's not some theological form. It's not Jesus on the cross. Forgive me. It's not. That's not the Ishtadevata. It's not some being who they say has died because you were so bad that they had to die for you. That's not your Ishtadevata. That's not the true Christ either. It's a theological construct. Now that may be upsetting. What we need spiritually to move beyond a theological idea that somebody has given to us to an intimate relationship, one-on-one intimate. The most intimate relationship in your life is with the divine, is with your Ishtadevata. It is the bridge to your enlightenment. I say this to you again and again and again. Your relationship with your Ishta is the bridge to your enlightenment. So you draw forth an Ishta that you trust, that you can rely on, that you can talk to, who can give you wisdom, bring you help as you need it. And then what? You create this relationship in which you speak to the divine. And you tell the divine always, every day. First, you do it just once, What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? Not begging, not praying. This is not praying. This is not begging. It is just simply saying, Lord, please, I'm really concerned about this. I'm concerned about this person. I need direction. You talk, just like you would to a wise soul whom you loved and trusted. Talk to your Ishta. This is what my concerns are. This is where I need help. Please hear me. And you just talk, because what you're doing is someone is listening to you. And by the mere act of listening, your burden is lifted. Your burden is lifted. Just as when you listen to another, their burden is lifted. And so you begin this practice. Then what's next? Really, I think that this is one of the most powerful and meaningful and helpful engagements, interactions one can have with the Ishta Devata. You sit down of an evening or a time when it's quiet, when you're not rushed, when you're private, when you can turn into your Ishta Devata. And you tell them all of the areas you goofed up. It's not like going to confession where you say, bless me for I have sinned. I did this and this and this. No, it's sitting down and going into meditation and allowing your mind to go back and see where you goofed. Now, this is important. You pay attention to what rises in the mind. It's not what your mom said you goofed. It's not what your husband said you goofed, or your wife, or your dad, or your children, or your boss. Certainly not what your boss said you goofed. It's how you feel you goofed. And you show it to your Ishta. Hey, I did this. And you see your Ishta smiling back at you with love and acceptance and compassion. Hey, I did this, and show it like a picture. But always your Ishta is there, filled with compassion and love, acceptance and understanding of you. Seeing the true you, not your personality, which is goofed up, made a little boo-boo, made a little mistake. No, but you, the true you, your spirit. And so in doing this small practice, which is a huge practice, saying, here, I'm showing you, and feeling your Ishta open its heart to you, share its love with you, its bounty with you, you begin to see, I see. I am okay. I see. I am accepted. I see. I am worthy. I'm worthy to receive. I'm worthy to receive all of the blessings of life. The biggest of which is the ability to let go of the needs and greeds and wants and desires for all the things that we can have on the earth plane, all the beautiful, beautiful things we can have. But the ability to receive is the greatest. Too often it's, I have to give. People have to give, because they feel better about themselves if they give. But then there's a question, can I receive? And then you have the other hand, people say, gimme, and they don't give. And the energy flow between you and the universe, it gets clogged up pretty badly. And we need the life energy to circle. We need to receive the blessings of life and to give those blessings back. To give and to receive, to give and to receive, to give and to receive. Now they tell me that I was supposed to talk today about the harvest of summer beginning and what one needs to do at this time. So I'll try a bit. It is the time of the year. The first day of summer has come. We are already into the beginning of summer. And if you have planted plants, you can see they're already starting to grow weeds. But what does this say about your life? This sacred time, this special sacred time, is a time to say, what am I growing? And what's come into my life that maybe is not the best thing to be here? What's come in that's a surprise that I want to feed? Now, the problem that we have as humans is that we like to reinforce that which is already strong. You know, anything that you have that is already strong, is the tendency is to want to reinforce that instead of saying, oh, well, you know, my Sanskrit could use a little work, so I'm going to go study more Sanskrit. Or my French has gotten very rusty. I need to do that. But again, it's not those things we're talking about. We're really saying it is the time now for deep tarka, interning, reflection, understanding, coming to understand your inner nature. This is key. The spiritual path is about you understanding your nature, who and what you are. What is the psychology? What is the consciousness? What is the consciousness that lives within you? This requires deep meditation, but it also requires every single day performing what we call tarka. Tarka is asking yourself, how did I spend my day? And not listing 50 things. How did I spend my day? Did I do anything that I think is of service today, was worthwhile today? Did a new thought, did something new come into my life today? That's very important. Something new, a new person, a new experience came into your life today. Feed that, look at that, be of care with that. It will tell you where the path is opening for you. Did you become more compassionate today? Kinder? Did you zip it when it needed to be kept quiet? Did you quiet the mind and the mouth and the body? Maybe you got as good today to quiet the mouth, but you didn't quiet the mind. Maybe you need to do your tarka and you'll see that, there were some red buttons today. What are those red buttons? They're other earthlings. They're the people, the events, the things, the situations that come into your life that cause an automatic reaction in which you become critical of another. You see another and you say, oh, that son of a gun, I'm tired of seeing him. No. Or, oh, there's that goofball again. Or some variation of that, right? Probably not those words. It's automatic. It's become a habit. And so you must say at the end of every day, all right. I have a disciple whose habit used to be, she'd constantly say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And finally one day I said, you do know, you do know. And maybe if you'd let that habit go, put a quarter in a jar every time you say it. I said this after 10 years or so. Maybe something would change. Maybe you would gain the confidence that you do know. Because she did. She absolutely knew. But somehow somebody had told her, and she had picked up the thought that she wasn't wise enough. She wasn't strong enough. She didn't have what she needed. And They were wrong. She does. She does. She absolutely does. She has the wisdom, as do you. So in your tarka, you say, all right, what am I doing? What am I repeating? How do I need to change? What do I need to change? And don't do this big thing of, oh, I'm gonna, the January 1st, I'm gonna go to the gym from now on. No, this isn't it. You're talking little tiny petite changes. If I learned to be aware every time I thought a negative thought about someone, and I could say neti, 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 and turn around and give them loving kindness, that would make a big difference. May you be mentally happy. May you be physically happy. May you be safe. May you have ease of well-being. Or may all be calm. May all be peace-filled. May all be bliss-filled. May all be goodness. Whatever you choose. But you have something to replace those thought forms that are not healthy, that are not to your benefit. Now, how does this relate to the Ishta Devata and telling your Ishta where you goofed? If you do that, if you take that one practice and begin to cultivate it in your life, you will gain the sense of confidence that, there's somebody listening to me and accepting me the way I am. Saying it again for a second time, you will begin to feel as if you are worthy, as if you are good enough for the blessings that flow to you. And when things get rough and the rocks get rough, that you will have help. Now, the changes that need to be made in one's life have to be made just a slight little bit amount. So you take, oh yes, I react to this. So every time I react to that, I'm going to remind myself to say something positive, to say something worthwhile, to think something worthwhile. And in time, you neutralize that problem. You neutralize that habit. This is really an important word. You neutralize that habit. It is your habits that you will return to again and again and again. It's your habits that you turn to in the dream state, your habits that you turn to in the meditation state, and your habits that draw your karma to you again and again and again. If meditation becomes a habit, you draw it to you again and again. You want to do it. It's sweet. You keep doing it. It's sweet. It's sweet. And you do it over and over and over. If complaining and kvetching about something is a habit, well, that's what you grow. That's what continues again and again. Now, it doesn't mean the two things can't exist at once, because they can, but not very well, not very long, and not very harmoniously. And so you go to your Ishta and you tell your Ishta where you goofed. And your Ishta accepts you. And everything changes for you. You realize your own goodness. You realize how good you are. You begin to see your goodness because you have been accepted, you've been loved, just as you are. Now, someone asked me this week about prayer. Very good question, very important question. How do you pray? Was the question. And the person went on to describe what we call, the give me prayer, And there are different kinds of prayer. The first one that is often, Lord, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. That's what my guru used to call the cosmic God, the cosmic bellhop prayer, where we treat the divine one as if it is a cosmic bellhop. You say please, and it comes and does your wish according to the way you would like it. That's not particularly effective in the long run. Then there is, Lord, help my family, help my husband, help my wife, help my children, help my family. And then it stops there, it's beyond you, but to them. And the mind is funny. It feels as if there's limits, if I ask beyond my nuclear family, what's going to happen? Oh, there's not going to be enough. There's enough. There is enough. And then the mind begins to ask, the prayer begins to go greater to others, for others. But here's where there's a pothole, okay? Because we start praying for others, we start praying for what we want for them, or what we think would be good for them, because we think it would be good for our own lives. And so we send up all these conflicting prayers. Well, Lord, I really pray that Joe gets this, and Mary Jane gets that, and Elizabeth gets this. What happened? Your sister sitting next to you, your husband sitting next to you, your best friend sitting next to you, and they're praying, God, I hope Joe gets this. I hope Mary Jane gets that. I hope Elizabeth gets this. And it's full of conflicts. And all you're doing is feeding your ego desires for what you think they should have, what you think they need. And so the prayer becomes ineffective, shall we say. So how does one pray? Really, true prayer is made through and made in deep meditation and radiating forth the light and the goodness and calling forth the divine, calling forth your Ishtadevata, calling forth God, if you will, whatever name you choose for the divine, calling for life, radiating forth just your own light, using mantra, using visualization, but recognizing and always saying, you know better than I that which they need. Bring that to them most harmoniously. Some of the greatest difficulties in the world come from people thinking that they know what the other one needs. Somebody comes to you with a problem and your immediate reaction is to give them a solution. No. Did they come to tell you their problem and have you listen? Or did they come to you and say, oh, I'd like you to solve this problem for me? Most people, yourself included, know the answer to your life obstacles, to the rocks in the road of your life, to the dips of the valleys. Most of you know the answer. You just have to be quiet and call upon the divine to help you to see, to bring you the help that you need. I had a wonderful experience earlier this weekend when we were on retreat, and I was asking people to talk about their seva, what they felt they could offer life. And somebody surprised me and put in a word that, I won't say it, but put in a word, and I said, oh, that's what I've been praying for. That's what I've been praying for. That's what I've been asking for months. A Swami that can do that. In time, the divine answers in its own way. But what do you have to pull out of your consciousness? What do you have to let go of in order to become more attuned to life, in order to let life help you, in order to be blessed in this beautiful garden of God. You have to put aside your preferences. You have to let go of those things that you prefer, those things that you think are the right way, and recognize that, for a yogi, we look at the average lifetime, the average span of a yogi's lifetime is, 432,000 years that we look at the span of life upon the earth. That's a lot of reincarnations and reincarnations and reincarnations and reincarnations. But if you start saying, am I going to care about this matter? Am I going to care what John said or what Peter said? Or am I going to care in 5 years, in 10 years? And if I am, maybe I better do something to neutralize that. Because if I'm here for 432,000 years, my lifespan changes. My horizon of awareness changes, as yours will. Those things that you become upset with, they don't seem nearly as important. When you know that you're here, you're coming back again and again and again. And you say, yes, I have this time to become enlightened, this time. And so now we will join together in meditation. Because it is through meditation that you understand who and what you are. It is through meditation that you will attune to the divine, your Ishtadevata, your chosen form of the divine. Remember always, your Ishtadevata is that chosen form of the divine that embodies the most sacred, meaningful values to you. Treat your relationship with your Ishta with the deepest respect, with love, with honor, with devotion. You have said, this is what I value. Acceptance, compassion, kindness, wisdom, the ability to see the universes in all of their wonder, the ability to help you to return to that, to your understanding that you are a part of life, that you are life. What a great, great blessing this is. Use it now. Use it now. And know that that which you have to let go of, know what you have to let go of, and do so. And if it helps, I was complaining to my guru a few years ago. Fetching was where I was just complaining about something. And I said, well, Guruji, I know I know you're trying to let go of this. It's a problem we were both talking, that I had brought to his attention. And he said, no, Swamiji, you are trying to let go of it. I have let go of it. When are you going to let go? How much longer are you going to try? We'll end with a story before we go into our meditation. A meaningful one to me. Once upon a time, there was a little yogi walking through the forest, beautiful forest. And he hears in the distance, ow, 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 oh, ow, oh, ow. He comes to a clearing and he sees a man clinging, holding on to a thorn bush, very, very deep, deep thorns in that thorn bush. Oh, oh, oh. Blood's coming down the man's hands. It's really a mess. And the little yogi says, excuse me, excuse me. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I think I can help you. Please, please, this is so terrible. The pain is so awful. Okay, okay. Just take your right hand and lift it away from the thorn bush. So the man lifts it a little bit. Now take the left hand and lift it away from the thorn bush. And the man lifts it away. And the little yogi says, now take a step back. And the man takes a step back. No. You want the thorn bush for yourself. I'm going to grab onto it. And with that, the little yogi said, Namaskar, blessings to you, and went along his way. What's your thorn bush? What's the thought you're thinking? What's your preference that if you let go of, you believe you would not be yourself? What's the thing that you feel that you have to hold on to? Because letting go, who would you be without that? That, my beloved, is what needs to be let go of. To find your freedom, to move forward, to move deep, 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 deep within, to become one with life. Namaste. And let us go into meditation. Sit with your spine erect and your hands on the Om Mudra on your thighs. And turn the head to the left with a double exhalation. And bring the head back to the center. Use the sipping breath to pull the energy from the limbs of the body to the trunk. Again, from the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine to the sun center. Move that golden ball of light out in front of you. Expand it and wrap your body counterclockwise in a golden sheet of light. Do this 3 times. Expand that golden light. And now ascend upward. Ascend to the high place. Above the building. Above the continent. Ascend to the high place. And when you ascend there, you find a meditation spot in the grove of meditation. The spot is filled with light and beauty. Taking 5 long deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils. Focusing your attention at your sun center, the point between your eyes, the Ajna chakra. It becomes like the lens of a high definition 3D camera. In your mind's eye at this moment, see the most beautiful object of beauty to you at this moment. That form of life that is most beautiful to you. Sharpen the camera of your mind's eye. See the form of beauty clearly. Bring that object of beauty close to the mind's eye. Elevate it. Smell the form of beauty. Touch the form of beauty. See the color of the form of beauty. See it vivified with color. Hear the sound of the beauty. Live this form of beauty in a golden circle of light, about 18 inches in front of your sun center. Now draw it close with your breath, inhaling with 3 short inhalations. Bring it closer to the sun center. And again, 3 inhalations, bringing it closer. It's touching your sun center. And one last set of 3, bringing the form of beauty above your spinal column. See the form of beauty melding into golden light, pouring down your spinal column. Radiating from your spinal column. The beauty radiates to the trunk of your body, to the limbs of your body. Om Gam, Om Gum, Om Aim, Om Hrim, Om Shim Shim Shim. Om Aim Aim Aim. Am Ram Ram. Hrim Hrim Hrim. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Allow that beauty to radiate forth from every cell of your being as it fills and nurtures you, as it vivifies and strengthens you, and fills your being with that which thou art. Thy being is filled with the light of the beauty which thou art. Radiate that forth to all sentient beings. Be thou blessed. Be thou blessed. Be thou triply blessed. The golden dewdrops of Ananda pour forth upon your crown, filling you. Ananda, 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 da, da. As you walk through the week, radiate forth that which thou art. Radiate forth the goodness, the beauty, the love, kindness, compassion, and understanding to all of those who enter your aura. Return as you are ready. To the earth realm. Namaste. Shanti. For those of you that were here on retreat, I thank you so very much for the blessing of your presence this weekend. It meant an enormous amount to have you here. For those of you that are newly ordained, congratulations again and again and again. And to those who have joined for the noon meditation, as always, thank you for your blessings, for the blessings of your presence. I know I perhaps did not answer the question on prayer enough. I will do better and try again next time. Shanti. But the answer is radiate forth. Radiate your light without any preferences. If I can say this one last thing about prayer, really, probably the most important thing I know about it is that I came to recognize with the laws of karma that one could not really help another person. They have to help themselves. And I was talking to my guru one day and expressed that with a great deal of sadness on my part, saying, I recognize it doesn't do any good. He said, oh, no. We must try. You must try. You must try. Because when they're ready, when the time is right, the prayers will make a difference. All of the good intentions, all of the blessings you send forth will go to that person's astral body, to their aura. And when they are ready to receive it, whether it is today, tomorrow, 7 lifetimes, they will draw it forth. They will draw it forth. He said, sometimes you're not around to see it. You have to let go of the desire outcome. But don't forget, his words. We must try. Center yourself, lift, and radiate the highest good that you are able. Namaste.